We are 10 days from that chime being played in Pittsburgh. 10 days to the draft, so we put together 10 questions you need answered, and we run through them for you this morning on Get Up. Hey, Damian Woody, the Cowboys have 12 and 20 in the first round, 2 first-round picks. Should they go defense on both of those selections?
Yes, they absolutely should. They still, even with all the moves that they made last year, they need multiple players on the defensive side if they want this defense to be anywhere close to being a team that could help them get back to the postseason.
Because I'm hearing the possibility, well, I shouldn't say I'm hearing this as a possibility. I'm hearing a lot of fans saying maybe they try and package that or do something and move up and get one of the, there were some real star players in this draft, like a Sonny Styles, you mentioned him before, an off-the-ball linebacker that the Cowboys could really use. Do you have any sense about the Cowboys' possibility of moving around in this class?
No, look, the Cowboys are patient and strategic with the way they draft. So I would say if they're absolutely in love with Sonny Styles and feel like it's worth trading 2 first-round picks to go up and get him, I wouldn't put it past him. But I also would find that to be unusual behavior because I don't think they probably view themselves as Sonny Styles away from where they want to be.
Right.
And therefore, 12 and 20, you're likely to get 2 very good players on the defensive side of the ball that can help you a lot, not just this year, but in years to come. So I guess my answer would be if the guy they're in love with gets a little closer to 12, then maybe you're able to make a move with a later round pick. But to trade 2 firsts, that would have to be the difference maker that takes you from good to championship great.
I will remind everyone the Cowboys traded back in the first round the year they took Micah Parsons.
Correct.
That was actually a move back.
With the Eagles.
Yeah, with the Eagles of all things.
Yeah.
Could the Cowboys, is there a player sitting there you think the Cowboys should be considering making an aggressive move for Dominique?
Yeah, I think there are a few impactful defensive players. If any of them slide, I think the Cowboys should consider moving up. I feel like I am like Rueben Bain's agent today because he's the one who I think has a chance of potentially sliding a little bit. And if the Cowboys could package those picks to move up and get him, I think he's an impactful enough player that it'd be worth considering. If not, they can hang around and maybe the corners will be around by the time they get to 12. Both of those corners that are really good. And there's some really talented D linemen like Caleb Banks, who's injured, who's going to fall way, way down in the first round. I think maybe the second round that could help that team out a lot.
The corners are Mansour Delane and Jermod McCoy. McCoy has injury questions. And then there's also the safety, Caleb Downs, who a lot of people just love. But safety is a complicated position. I can think of another impactful defensive player the Cowboys could consider trying to trade for, and he's on our screen right now. Dan, is there any?
We are 10 days away from the NFL draft. 10 days until Pittsburgh becomes the center of the football universe. And this morning on Get Up, they ran through 10 big questions. Let me break down the 3 most important ones for you. The Cowboys at 12 and 20. Myles Garrett's future in Cleveland. And what the Chiefs do at pick number 9. First up, the Dallas Cowboys. They have 2 first-round picks. Number 12 and number 20. Damian Woody on the show said they absolutely should go defense with both selections. And I agree with him. The Cowboys' defense last year was not the same unit we've seen in previous seasons. They lost key pieces. They need multiple players on that side of the ball. But here's where it gets interesting. There's talk about the Cowboys packaging those 2 picks to move up and get 1 elite player. Someone like Sonny Styles, the Ohio State linebacker who Matt Miller compared to Fred Warner. A 6 feet 4 inches linebacker who used to play safety. Former safety. Outgrew the position. Moved to linebacker. And all he does is everything. Pass rush. Coverage. He had 1 missed tackle all last season. 1. That's Fred Warner level. That's all-pro green dot wearing linebacker. Should be a top 10 pick. But would the Cowboys trade 2 first-rounders for him? That's the question. Albert Breer said the Cowboys are patient and strategic. They don't usually make splashy moves. Remember, the year they took Micah Parsons, they actually traded back in the first round. With the Eagles. Of all teams. So trading up would be unusual behavior. And as Breer pointed out, the Cowboys probably don't view themselves as 1 player away from where they want to be. So more likely, They stay at 12 and 20. Take two very good defensive players. Maybe Rueben Bain, the defensive lineman who could slide a little bit. Maybe one of the corners like Mansour Delane or Jermaine McCoy. McCoy has injury questions, but the talent is there. Maybe Caleb Banks, the D lineman who's injured and will fall way down. The Cowboys have options. They don't need to get crazy. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. MYLES GARRETT. The Defensive Player of the Year. The man who had 23 sacks last season. A historic season. And where did it get the Cleveland Browns? Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. That's what Damien Woody said. And he's right. Until the Browns solve their quarterback problem, this organization is going nowhere. They have a decade of Hall of Fame play from Garrett that has resulted in 2 playoff appearances and 1 playoff win. 1. In 10 years. You can lose with MYLES GARRETT. You can lose without him. So why not trade him and get a treasure trove of draft picks? That's what every single person I talk to says. That's what Dominique Foxworth said. That's what D. Wood said. The Browns should have traded him last year. But here's the problem. The Browns have been steadfast. Adamant. They have no interest in trading MYLES GARRETT. Even when he publicly asked for a trade last year. They gave him a new contract. Albert Breer said it's more likely Garrett gets another contract bump from the Browns this offseason than gets traded. Let me repeat that. Another contract bump. Not a trade. More money to stay on a losing team. And here's the sad part. We are being robbed of watching one of the greatest defensive players of all time in a meaningful playoff run. Garrett has 99.5 career sacks. On teams with losing records. That's the most in NFL history for a player on losing teams. Think about that. The most sacks ever for someone who has never consistently won. Dominique Foxworth said it perfectly. If MYLES GARRETT had won a Super Bowl, if he had been Super Bowl MVP, we would be talking about him in the same breath as Lawrence Taylor and Reggie White. He belongs in that conversation. His talent is that level. But we've never seen him on a half-decent team. So where could he go? The challenge is that contenders don't have high first-round picks to trade. And they don't have the cap space to fit his contract. So you need a team that's close to contending, has draft capital, and has cap room. That's a short list. Chicago Bears. They have the capital. They need a pass rusher. They have a young quarterback on a rookie deal. That actually makes sense. Washington Commanders. Maybe. Detroit Lions. Possibly. But the Browns aren't listening. So Garrett stays in Cleveland, puts up another 15-sack season, and the Browns win 6 games. That's the reality. Now Lou T's move to Kansas City. The Chiefs pick at number 9. What do? Damien Woody says defense. And I get it. The Chiefs have lost a lot of talent on that side of the ball. Chris Jones is still there, but they've graduated pieces. They need to replenish. As much as we talk about Patrick Mahomes and his brilliance, it's really been the defense that has been the catalyst for them winning these championships. The defense that held opponents to low scores. The defense that came up with stops in big moments. So going defense at 9 makes sense. But Albert Breer threw out a different name. Kenyon Sedek. The tight end from Oregon. Think about it. Travis Kelce is 37 years old. His career is coming to an end. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but soon. And the Chiefs have always been at their best when they have an elite tight end. Kelce changed their offense. He made Mahomes unstoppable on third down. In the red zone. In crunch time. So why not draft his replacement now? Let him learn for a year or two. Then hand him the keys. Breer mentioned that Foxworth was shaking his head. And I get the skepticism. Taking a tight end at 9 is rich. Tight ends don't always translate. And the Chiefs have other needs. But imagine Kenyon Sedick in that offense. With Mahomes throwing him the ball. With Andy Reid drawing up plays. That could be scary. The other name to watch for the Chiefs. Jermaine McCoy. The cornerback from wherever. He has injury questions, but the talent is top tier. If he's healthy, he could be a shutdown corner for the next decade. And the Chiefs need corners. They need defensive backs. So at 9, you could argue for McCoy. You could argue for a pass rusher. You could argue for Sedick. It's going to come down to what Andy Reid values more. And history tells us Reid loves offensive playmakers. He loves weapons. He loves guys who can score touchdowns. So don't be surprised if they go offense. Alright, let me wrap this up with some questions for you. And I want you to destroy the comments. 1. Should the Cowboys trade up from 12 and 20 to get Sonny Styles? Or stay put and take 2 players? 2. Where does Myles Garrett end up? Does he stay in Cleveland forever, or does he finally get traded to a contender like Chicago or Detroit? 3. What do the Chiefs do at 9? Defense or tight end? 4. Who is the best pass rusher in this draft class, Rueben Bain or someone else? Drop your takes. The best ones I read next video. Smash like if you think the Cowboys should trade up. Hit subscribe if you believe Garrett is gone this offseason. And comment your mock draft for the top 10 picks right now. Let's go.